I thought I would talk a little about the one doctor that can heal Colleen Thomas, who is Dr. Vernon Woolf, who created the concept of holodynamics, who just happens to be every bit as insane as Colleen Thomas. Yet, he's the only guy that can cure her, which makes no fucking sense. I realize that. But this might be an opportunity to kill birds with one stone. It's like if the doctor can heal himself, then he has the potential to heal Colleen Thomas. And here's a guy that claims to have come up with a tool that can solve every problem known to the human experience. Writes that right in his friggin' book. He's been curing cancer, AIDS, mental illness, addictions for over 20 years. Probably closer to 30 years, but to define the time frame of where he's been proving his science is more like 20 years. Extremely logical. It's just he doesn't believe his own work. And it's because you can have a tool that solves every problem, but if you can't recognize the problem, then you can't solve it. And I would pretty sure if you wrote a book about how to solve every problem known to the human experience, you'd kind of want it to be on a bestsellers list. And the guy even puts in his book, this has not reached the bestsellers list. So obviously for him to even use those words means that was his intention, but he hasn't accomplished that. It's his problem. Why is it he has not got his books on the bestsellers list? Because he's done no marketing and admits it. So that's one flaw. Another flaw that you'll see within his work is while he's cured every illness, every single medical problem, he was poisoned with high-grade uranium when he was working in Russia and trying to unfold their fullest potential. I guess somebody within Russia didn't want their potential unfolded, and they felt, we need to kill the guy that's trying to accomplish that job. And he managed to cure himself of high-grade uranium poisoning, but it resulted in a heart problem. And it's like, how come you can cure everybody else's heart problems, but you can't cure your own heart problem? A little bit of insanity there. What's another one? When I came to him, because I was like at my lowest, trying to fight the friggin' universe that's trying to get me to put, round peg in a square hole. And I'm at the stage where, okay, I can't talk to these people. Everybody's fucking insane, and everybody thinks that I can do the impossible. And it's like, trying to communicate with insanity is insanity right there. When I contacted this guy, which he answers his own phone, you would think that he'd be a little busy, but no, he answers his own phone. And if you order his books, which are next to impossible to find, it was like, I'm a master researcher and I find what I'm looking for. So it was really hard to find. You can't get it in a bookstore. You can only go to his website, holodynamics.com. And yes, you'll be turned against his information by something he said on his website. It's almost as if anybody I direct to go and check out his stuff, the words that come out to describe this guy, without anybody actually knowing him, is that he's evil, he's, everything wrong. And it's like, hey, what a beautiful human being to spend his whole friggin' life trying to study what the fuck is going on. You'd get a headache if you'd have to do the work that he did. I mean, it takes a brilliant, genius mind to come up with the concepts that he's coming up with. And yet that's an evil thing for some reason. That part doesn't make any sense. But anyways, when I did phone him, the first thing that he tried to do is track me. I have my belief systems. I have my logic that I'm working with that he doesn't like. He's a fucking doctor. Doctors interject their issues onto you, which he knows that, which is in his friggin' books. He says this is a real thing, and that's why the medical profession doesn't work, because you are influencing your own insanity on other people. And if you're a doctor or any form of authority, that's what you're going to do. So he's designed this system that a doctor, he calls it tracking, because you have to track, where did that come from? And if you cure where the causes come from, you cure everything. Okay, so he didn't like my logic because I was pointing out his own insanity. So what he tried to do is track me and tried to say everything that I'm doing is wrong and that I needed tracking. And maybe I should think of this or think of that. And it's like, wait a minute. You're tracking me right now, and yet you don't have another tracker. Like, he goes against his own shit when it comes to having any conversation about talking about his work, which is like, I'm his biggest fan. It's like, how come this isn't on the bestsellers list? And all of a sudden he wants to track me to even, that's a dumb question why I should ask why his books aren't on the bestsellers list if he's, got a tool that solves every problem known to man. It's like, if you would have put all this shit out maybe 30 years ago, I wouldn't have gone through all the fucking abuse that I've gone through. Like, get off your ass and get to work. But he didn't like that. And I didn't come across that way, but I am now, because it's fucking insanity. That why would you try to track me without having a tracker beside you to make sure that you're not influencing me back into your own insanity? I was at the lowest point in my time, and I would have put all my trust into, an authority figure, that if an authority figure was going to tell me that I was the one that was crazy, I would be more susceptible to believing a doctor and thinking that I'm the one insane. Thank God I've seen more than enough doctors. I've seen that I get sicker every time I go and see a doctor to know better than what doctors are a little fucked up right now. Which gets me to the point that, who are these counselors? Who are all these professionals? They all have fucking issues. They go into a medical system to find out and cure their fucking issues. They don't find it, they just find a block and deal method, and then they think, I'm going to go and heal the rest of the world. I'm going to push all my issues that I didn't want to deal with, and I'm going to teach and educate and heal everybody into my concept of what healing actually looks like. And it'll actually make your life more hell. It might be a block and deal. It's all about, short-term pleasure, which will cause long-term pain. So it's almost like you got to choose the short-term pain to get the long-term pleasure. But we as humans don't do that, and doctors, give you a pill for that short-term pleasure, which will only cause you long-term pain. So there is some of Dr. Woolf's little bit of insanity. He talks very much about understanding your enemy, which, makes perfect sense. As soon as I seen all of this, it was like, now I get it. I understand why my ex-husband's so fucking abusive. I understand this whole cycle of abuse and know what it is that we need to do to stop it, which is, we need some more information. That's all it is. You can understand your enemy sees you as his enemy, but you see him as an enemy. Which one is right? It's the guy with the biggest ego. Guess what? Both sides of war have massive egos, and they both think that they're right while both are wrong. It's a lack of information. All war is a lack of information. We don't want to understand our enemy. All our enemies want something. There's a reason why they're fighting, because they want something. And if you're on a side of war, don't you want something? If you are, want something, don't you think your enemy wants something as well? Like, while you judge your enemy to be the wrong guy, can you see that your enemy is also judging you to be the wrong guy? It's like, when you see this shit, you see both sides of war are fucking insane. Because both sides of war are wrong, dead fucking wrong, and both sides of war are dead fucking right. And all sides of war want the same thing. Everybody wants peace and everybody wants love. They just want their version of peace and love, and we don't want to sit down at a peace table and actually figure out, hey, if we kind of did this and kind of did that, I win and you win. That problem solving is one of the most misunderstood concepts in our reality. We think if we solve a problem, we actually have to lose something. And the only thing you have to lose is everything you fucking hate. Why is it that you wouldn't want to solve a problem if it gets rid of everything you fucking hate? That makes no sense whatsoever. Problem solving. True problem solving means you do not give up anything that you want. Anything that's important to you, guess what? That's what you win. All sides of war end up getting what they want. All sides of war feel like they're winners. all sides of war don't give up anything. There is no compromise. It isn't about compromising. It's about understanding your enemy. And it's so anyways, this guy really, really explains the enemy concept very well so that you can understand it. But he hasn't forgiven his enemy. He doesn't understand the enemy that tried to kill him and gave him a heart problem. And he explains it in his book. It requires infinite love. He doesn't have that infinite love for his enemy. Why? Because he's lacking information about the enemy that created this. If he dealt with the issue of why somebody wanted to kill him, then he would cure his heart problem. Because heart is all about love. And it's like not really surprising that his issues are manifesting the health problem that is a heart problem. And heart is love. Love is what will keep your body running. And so anyways, it's actually comedy when you can kind of see the patterns and then say, he's smarter than me, because this guy's definitely saying that I got major issues, which, our government system is actually paying me to be crazy. And I'm just like, okay, I'm out one. You think I'm crazy? Let's take a look at yourself. You think a welfare system is the way to handle problems? I mean, there is a cause as to why I'm on this system. Nobody wants to get rid of those causes. It's just another way of coping and dealing. And it's like, at the end of the day, how many people like having their income being taken off and supporting me? I'd rather be working. But the world, the universe, doesn't want to support my way of working. And I'm a workaholic. It's not like I'm lazy. It's not like I'm stupid. But I'm perceived as lazy and stupid. Yet I get up every day. I do an awful lot of work on this YouTube channel. I don't think I'm all that stupid. If you judge the work that I'm putting out there, there's over 900 videos. Somebody out there proves that I'm insane. I would love to challenge the person that has the courage to challenge the logic that I'm dealing with. Because, the person that wants to challenge my logic, we're going to have to really, neurology, biology, psychology, information theory, quantum physics, holographics, education system, medical, justice. I mean, you name what level of sciences or systems, I'm willing to have a conversation. And I'm willing for, show me where I'm insane. Let's have that conversation. I'm open. I'm making it fucking public. Just like what Colleen is. It's like, if you don't want to talk to me at a peace table, I'm going to talk to you at a global table. And it's like, let's all just have that conversation. It's like, if I'm insane, prove it. But if I call you insane, I'm going to point it out, and I'm going to give you some science. I'm going to give you some, let's look at your patterns and see if I'm right or you're right. And it's just a lack of information. That is all it is. And people are refusing to sit at a table and actually have that conversation. And this Dr. Woolf, definitely. The only time that you will be able to talk with this Dr. Woolf is if you have enough money to grab his time. And his main interest is cleaning the biosphere. I mean, he would give up everything, money, everything, if he knew how to accomplish cleaning up the biosphere with the technology, the mindset, everything that he has. If he could accomplish that job, then he would get it done. But he thinks the only way to do it is with money. And it's like, no. If this guy had a YouTube channel and started spreading this information, he would attract all of the money that he needs to clean the biosphere. But he can't really connect the dots to that one. So he is a doctor that can cure Colleen Thomas. There's, without a question of a doubt, he knows the process if he did it in a professional manner and not just with a phone call like I did. He also is attracting, for some reason, a lot of people to say he's evil. Why would a man be attracting people saying that he's wrong? And, we attract what's inside us. So if anybody comes out and says you're wrong, he's a guy that's saying, I want to know I'm wrong. So he's like attracting enemies all the time until he decides, hey, I don't want to attract enemies. I want to attract people who say I'm brilliant. When he changes inside and sees his own brilliance, then the world will expand so much. It's really fucking wild. But any other doctor will put Colleen in a hospital. We'll never hear from her again, and the problem will just escalate. But if you cure her, then you cure thousands of people that are following and believing her ways. Peace out.